The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para-X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
The calling.
And good evening, everyone. It's another Wednesday night, and it's actually a chilly afternoon. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird or something, but I find it chilly. Do you find it chilly, Miss Kimberly Juarez?
Yes, I do find it chilly, actually. And then I got really super hot at work. Well, I wore this really light jacket thinking we were going to get the same weather like yesterday. And no, it wasn't even like that. It got really cold in the middle of the day. So,
yeah, that's funny how the weather just kind of shifts from really, really super, super nice to I'm going to bite you, type of thing. So now if everybody's seen our flyers, okay, Kimberly and I each have a bottle of tequila. And I asked if you guys can join in as long as somebody has the salt and lime. So raise your hands.
If you got the salt and lime, we would like to actually see those hands up, please.
Exactly. So what are we going to talk about tonight?
So my thoughts were, because, this is called the Babble time. This is Babble.
Paranormal Babble.
And I was thinking of talking about ectoplasma. I just like saying it. Say it, Jerry.
So, ectoplasma.
Oh, hey, you got that.
Is that all right. Keep your clothes on, girl. Okay. No, it's a good choice because it's funny is that, the first thing that I think that comes to everybody's heads is Ghostbusters. And remember when the green little Slimer guy went around and they're like, oh, what is this mucus? And they're like, no, it's ectoplasm.
Ectoplasm. Yep.
That's not what it is it?
And no, well, and in my age, I guess I used to, because the pictures that I used to see were these weird looking pictures with this lady. She's at a table and they're all black and white pictures. And she's got this guzz coming out of her mouth and it's coming from the sky. And everybody's just surrounding her and they're having a seance. And, she's supposed to be this medium. And I always wondered as a kid, because it used to freak me out, like, whoa, that spiritual thing is coming out of her, and made people believe these seances made people believe that these were like spirits and of some sort, and they called it ectoplasma. So yeah.
Yep. It's rather nasty. As a matter of fact, that lady's name. Do you have her name real quick?
No,
I got it right here.
Oh, do you got it? Okay, because I have another one.
Trying to find that. I was looking at them. Eva. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing it. Carrier, the lying spiritualist. Ectoplasm was said to come from your spirits around you, or from, and she would do photos, and like you said earlier when we were talking, she would charge like $100, and back in those days, we're talking that was a lot of money.
Yeah, that is that is basically crazy, and they would make people believe. I don't know how they would even do it, but Jerry, you were saying they had full of like a mouthful of gauze, which you can tell in some of these pictures. Like if you look at Pinterest and you put in ectoplasma, you get all these crazy images. It's really funny. But you could totally tell that this is gauze, and they shove it in their mouth, and it's supposed to be looking like it's spooling out of their mouth to make people believe that this is really happening. So I don't know.
Exactly. Well,
I mean,
here
how?
I'm.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I'm going to put a picture here in the um, so that people can click on this, and it kind of shows what kind of stuff. I mean, they would do things such as, oh, hey, Steph, hey, Sherry, do stuff like um, cut out pieces of somebody's face and stuff, and they would stick it in the middle of this gauze, or they would put, like in this picture that I put here. If you click on it and take a look at it, it actually shows a guy standing next to like a person, and that is supposed to have been it too.
Yeah.
That this
Yep.
this woman would do this type of stuff so that everybody was to think then that it's real, and it was such a fraud back in that day. And well, here's actually a better one, which I think is pretty amazing. This one, I know you can do this with a cell phone camera. Why isn't it coming up?
Well, that's like, I just think it's so bizarre because, I mean, who in their right mind would really believe that? You know what I mean? And then how did they do it? That's what I want to know is, did they take pictures after and then show them the pictures after, when they were out of the seance, I wonder, and I just think that's just so bizarre that they were that much of a fraud back in that time. Mediums were. There's also another, go ahead, Jerry.
Oh, no, go ahead.
No, there's also another medium. He is Polish medium studied by Byron Shedrick von Nansen. And this was 1913. He produced ectoplasma consistently. So, I mean, that is too crazy. Like,
It is. It's just insane. I mean, there's, and I'm not going to bust the chops of all the psychics around, but they all do stuff like this, to get you believe in certain things, and it's absolutely crazy. I mean, you see this stuff like in horror movies and stuff, but not this chintzy,
Yeah, yeah. And in poltergeist, they would, and this is, you can totally tell, this is that cotton, what is it, the mesh gauze. There you go, cotton gauze that they would just kind of pull apart and make it look like it was spooling out of their mouth. And that's the part I don't understand is, I wonder if they did it to them to make it look like something was coming around them or something. Like you even said there was a fake picture. Like you said, there was a fake picture next to that person. So what did they tell them to make them believe that this was a spirit right above you?
Well, see, a lot of them, when I was reading about this, were actually saying that it was actually that they would have the lights off, mm-hmm. and they would have somebody hold it next to them, and then they would take a picture, which made it look like, like this spirit was there when they developed the picture.
Oh, I could kind of see that. Yeah.
And then others were just plain and simple frauds that, they had it, they were just doing it, and then, just kind of like advertisement. Like if we were to do it and say, this happened to Kimberly, we can get this away from you if it happens to you for the low price of $99.99. Back now, it's going to go up to $150. That kind of thing. But it just kills me. Yeah, I know it's gross.
It's not even gross. I mean, it's hilarious. Go ahead.
No, it is. It's like Sherry says, like pea soup. So you got a little bit of The Exorcist going on. Exactly. None of it's real. It's just all a way for a person to, to make some money off of it, and all that good stuff. But
that's kind of like the same thing. Like, what do you believe too, Jerry? Like, they say the ectoplasm will come out, and kind of like in where Ghostbusters. I mean, because I know it's not true either. And Ghostbusters, it would slime you. And is that the same thing? I don't know if you ever guys saw that movie about the what is it, Devil, with, what's his name, the guy you don't like, you don't care for, what's his name?
Zach
Jack
Bagans.
Bagans, yeah. He said apparently that there was this moisture or oil substance on a blind. Now, to me, now listen, when your house is like dusty and everything, I mean, doesn't there, like when there's fog, and the bathroom's kind of next to this room he kept talking about, and when there's like fog in the room and the moisture in the room, it can cause, like, your blinds get dirty. It can cause like a wet moisture. I wouldn't say oily, but a wet moisture. And then they kept saying, where did this come from? You know, is this has to do with the evil part of the house and all this stuff? You know, could this be? I just think it's so bizarre. It's kind of like this ectoplasma thing. I can't, but maybe because I've never experienced it myself, you know, and a haunting of some sort, you know, I've never seen that before. Have you? Like,
I've seen some stuff that some people, you know, like say that ectoplasm is and stuff. You know, especially like on something. Like something, you know, on a. Where were we? I can't remember the case, but I remember they had something like a vase or something, and it had like an oil on it, and they claimed that that was the ectoplasm from a spirit that was there. And it's like, you've got to be kidding me, you know.
right,
That's
right.
no way that is. You know, I mean, even some people I'm sorry, I'm going to widen it a little bit further, but like even in the Bigfoot community,
Right.
you know, there's one guy, I'm not going to say his name because I'm not going to give him 5 minutes of my time in saying his name, but I'm going to say, you know, that he claims that there is rocks that Bigfoot touches and places them in certain area, and they're really greasy, like Kentucky Fried Chicken grease, and Bigfoot gives it to people as offerings, as, you know, a gift to them. You know, come on, people. You know, that's, you know, I think everybody believes stuff to a certain degree, but when you go that far as to say, okay, show me, prove it to me,
Right.
prove it to me.
Right.
You know, there's no proof to be gotten because no one can prove. Well, they should be able to prove it if they're going to say it. You know,
Right.
so it's just, you know, and here, what did Snooki say? The original ectoplasm e-liquid. Ectoplasm is delicious lemon lime that will make your mouth say, who are you going to call?
Right.
Okay, that was funny. That's hilarious. See, Paranormal Writer says, Jerry, what about marbles that appear out of nowhere, or indoor rain that just appears and drops of the sky, or flies sideways through the house? Oh, 6 people are still texting. I can't see. Though a lot of documented cases about that kind of thing. Right. Okay. Yes. When it comes to now, we've done cases. Steph even knows this, and I think Steve even was with the team then. But we did have cases of oh my gosh, what is the name of it? Water poltergeists. And water poltergeists, you know, usually inside a house it rains. No reason for it to rain.
Yep.
Or water forms like in a bed or on a floor. One certain case we had, which was downtown Minneapolis, it was in a condominium. A condominium. Sorry about that, guys. I do not drink tequila, so that isn't that. It's just me being stupid. But anyway, when we went to go take a look at, there was water on the floor, and you know, there was another spot on the floor which we walked right past, and there was no water in it. Then there was. She had called up the building maintenance people. They came on out. They said, you must have a leak somewhere. So they checked it. There was no leak anywhere. A few hours later, they came back after checking all the rest of the units around her and stuff, and there was no water anywhere. I mean, even the water that was on top of her bed, soaking into her sheets, was no longer there.
Really?
No longer there. Water poltergeist. It's there to cause mass confusion and all sorts of things like that that take a person's energy for them to be able to manifest and go on. Causes arguments, all that kind of stuff. It just makes a person. As a matter of fact, I remember that woman getting kind of nasty at the times that when we were there. And yes, Steph, you hit it right on the head there on who I'm talking about. I was talking about. Let's see, what is it we see in photos taken in the dark, that kind of filmy in the dark? That, I don't know. I mean, looking at some of this stuff, reading about it and everything, a lot of people say that it is ectoplasm, where other people say it could be just, photographers say that it could be just a light from a flash that could hit a certain object. It could come out to be like the reflection off of a bug, all sorts of stuff like that. So, what do they call it? They call it back something, backscaping or something like that. Yep. It was just weird. So yeah.
Did you see Steph's? I mean, it's a little bit more up, but ectoplasma was the odd and exclusive substance that, while skeptics refuted it to exist at all and reported to totally repulse an seemingly lifelike substance, solid, vaporized, and a natural that alleged exclusive from the body or medium, and can be transformed into materialized limbs, faces, and even entire bodies of spirits. Ectoplasma was often appeared to be milky white color and smell like ozone, according to most reports. That's interesting. Like, you can smell it, Right. Well, I know you can smell like stuff like, cigarette. You can smell burning. You can smell sulfur. One time we smelled cinnamon rolls in a basement. And then we found out later they had like one of those old stove kitchens back in the basement area. So, I mean, how do we know if they really didn't bake there? But it smelled so yummy. It smelled like real maple-like cinnamony rolls. And there was nobody, the house was empty. So there was nobody making anything in a basement, which I thought that's pretty odd too. So yeah, I just wanted to touch base on that one because I thought that was pretty interesting on that one. So go ahead, Jerry.
Right. No, we had Steph was reminding me that back when we first started doing our photos and stuff like that for Sim at this certain bridge, there was a cloud that, to be honest, we did, ask people about the photo, what they think it was and stuff like that. And they claimed that, it was too vast. It was too wide. It took up not just the bridge that we took a photo of, but the bridge, the metal structure, and certain other things that photo, it had some density to it, but it was in a certain type of a shape. And it's like, how could that not be ectoplasm? I believe in ectoplasm. It's just in a lot of the different cases that people have, it just doesn't seem.
So is that what ectoplasma is? Other than that, the fake stuff back in time, we know that that's not real. But when we talk about ectoplasma today, what is it? What does that consider? Like if you see something, a form of some shape, a white form of some shape, and then it leaves a substance? Could it leave a substance? Is that what you're saying, Jerry?
Well, no, because it didn't leave a substance. What it left was a photo that we took. So that on this photo, it had something that was cloud-like white and kind of cloud-like, but it was still see-through. And that's, I believe that would be considered, and other people too that have seen the photo, that is an ectoplasma. Ectoplasm. Plasma and plasm are two different things. A lot of people, like even geeks, said too. I heard ectoplasm was like smelled cigar, smoke, whiskey, and that could definitely be. It's pretty amazing, but when it comes to the old fashioned photos with that woman Eva, whatever her name is, I mean, that is definitely that's fraudulent. So on some of this stuff, I think people have gone a little bit too far on, because whatever you can't explain right away, it's considered to be ectoplasm.
Right.
But, ectoplasm, there's actually a recipe for it if you wanted to make it. And it's actually, it's pretty funny, because a lot of people will take it and have it come dripping from their mouth or dripping from their nose right before they get their photos taken without the photographer's knowledge. Right. And in doing that, it sets off a glow. Mm-hmm. So,
Stephanie just sent me the photo on that bridge that you guys are talking about.
That's the
one.
I'm
sorry, my dog is going off. You can hear my dog.
Sorry, shut up.
No.
Just kidding. It's pretty amazing. She sent you the picture?
Yeah, this picture's pretty amazing, because to me, I know it's a whole metrics thing and everything, but it literally, you could see the glow right in the middle, and there's even something coming off the edge there, right on the right-hand side of the bridge. You should put that picture up, Jerry.
Oh, we do.
I think it's interesting.
We do have it up. It's up on the Supernatural Investigators of Minnesota Facebook. It's a pretty awesome photo. That particular bridge, as a matter of fact, is it's been 10 years, so about 35 years or so. A young girl was beaten and raped, and then they killed her. They threw her off the bridge, and she had drowned. That's where they found her body, according to the police. They told us about this. And so when we investigated it, we had all sorts of things that were going on in that place. We did get voices, though you really couldn't tell exactly what they were saying. But one thing I thought was truly, truly amazing is that this is an old part of an old locomotive bridge from way back in the day. I can't remember what's the year on this particular bridge. I think it was like I want to say 10, but don't quote me on that. But anyway, it used to bring all the lumber from North Minneapolis over to South Minneapolis. And so they left that piece there. Anyway, we had our voice recorders out there, and you could hear fish jumping in the water, which was amazing. But you could hear a train, an old locomotive train, quietly going past. The older ones, not the newer ones, the big sound between the both. And we did check out the next day, because there is a railroad track not that far away, less than a quarter of a mile away and stuff. But there was nothing running that night that we were there. We checked it just to make sure. And the sound of this, I think I still have that audio recording, because I saved all mine on my old computer, and it still works. But it was a pretty darn amazing thing. Right.
Yeah. That's
pretty amazing.
Cool. That is very cool.
Yeah.
I think too, when we did Walcott, I think we caught a picture, a lady actually, because when we were walking through, and this is with you, we were with Bobby Sullivan, and he was walking in back of us, and my daughter and I were walking together, and we're walking back to the Batmobile. Not the Batmobile, but the Bat Cave, which is like a further back. That's what they called it. It's further back and at this Walcott place that Jerry has done investigations, and we so happened to see it in the paper, my husband and I, and we went over there and we wanted to see what it was all about. So that's how we met Jerry, and which is funny because she took a picture, and Bobby Sullivan and I even said, I feel like something, I said, do me a favor, take a picture. And she took a picture immediately and then sent it to me through an email, and it looks like that ectoplasma kind of light right above us, and it looks like it's literally dancing, or like it's smoke of some sort. It looks like white smoke. And she took that picture, and we have that picture. And she says, look, remember? So go ahead.
You've never showed me that picture.
No? I know.
No.
Okay, I think we have.
See, there used to be para-unity people.
Yeah, but I remember her she goes, remember when you asked me to take a picture? And I said, yes, and she showed me the picture. She had to come show me. I don't know if she showed it to me at one of the Paranormal Affair, but she showed me the picture, and I said, could I have that? And she said, oh, yeah. She goes, you definitely can. Because I just thought it was so weird. And even Bobby Sullivan even said, yeah, there's some natives running around here, above because I even said, I feel like somebody's following us, and he validated it, because he is good at what he does. So, yep. I mean, it's just funny how, because is that what that is? The ectoplasma of... So is that just like things that are...
Plasm, take the M off
plasm.
There.
Oh, yeah, plasm.
Yep.
So that would be like a residual or no, not even that. What would it be like a?
It'd be just something you caught.
Yeah, like I can't even think of it. But I'm just thinking of these crazy things because now I wonder with all these pictures that we have, is that what it is? That's what you would call it? Instead of just saying anomaly or, it's a lot bigger than an anomaly. Anomalies are maybe a little bit smaller in a sense. I don't know, but
right. Well, Friday, Nicole and Monica and I were actually going to go down there, go down to Walcott during the day, and kind of just walk through it and see what it feels like then. Because the last time we were there, my God, there was a presence there that, like I said, even Jeff said, yeah, I don't feel comfortable. And Jeff never says that. He didn't want to go on, but we ended up going on as long as I took point, the guy who can't walk, But I can't wait to go there and check it out. Oh, wow, look, it's 7:30. Okay, we'll be right back, folks, in just a couple minutes. Hold tight.
This is Barry Fitzgerald from GHI, and you're listening to the Para-X Radio Network.
Oh. UFOs. Bigfoot. Cryptid.
All this is on the recording. Just think if you listening to the words of Paranormal. Those geek ladies, Sean and Victoria from Exploring the Paranormal with Geeks Paranormal, are at it again with another amazing season full of paranormal celebrity interviews with amazing guests and stories of haunted locations and so much more. You will hear it first on Para-X. Tune in Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. You will not be disappointed.
It is the secret of the world that all things subsist and do not die, but only retire a little from sight and afterwards return again. Nothing is dead. People find themselves dead and endure the mock funerals and mournful obituaries. And there they stand, looking out the window, sounding well, in some new and strange disguise. This secret must be told to the world, and they must tell it, because they're not dead. We know this, and we'll prove it. So join Mike and Dave every Monday night at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central for the Odyssey Files. Only on Parax.
Alrighty, kids, we are back. This is Jerry with the calling, along with Kimberly Juarez. And hey, if you've missed the first half of the show, or if you've missed other show that we have, shame on you. But guess what? You don't have to worry about it, because we got you covered. If you go to www.thecallingradioshow.com, all of our shows every week are put on there by Thursday about 4 or 5 o'clock. And then it's for your listening pleasure. Also, too, you can go to our YouTube channel, The Calling Radio Show. And as of next week, we are going to have it so that you'll be able to see what we look like. And we're going to be taping our shows so that, you can see the stuff we do. And like right now, I'm naked. You'll be able to see that. I'm kidding. That's disgusting. That's yeah, I'm wearing khakis. And then also too, remember there's millions of shows on Parax that are worth listening to. You have right after us is Geeks Paranormal, and the ladies do a great job. So check them out. Check out those girls. And then we also have The Gathering every Tuesday night from 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with Stephanie and Heidi sitting around that metaphysical table. And I think next week they're going to be arm wrestling. So that should be a really good show. And then also on Sunday nights, there's the He Said, She Said, the Cryptid Show. And they do a great show on that. If you want to hear, one person say they believe in this and then the other person attacking at them, they don't really attack, but they do a very good job. I really enjoy that show. You guys should check it out. So, all right, back to our show. And where are you going to find all these? No other place but Parax. Duh.
Right.
Anyway, yeah. Well, like last week we had Heidi Steffens on. It was a really good show. It was interesting. She's quite an amazing person. And, so that was pretty good. What was I going to say? There was going to be something I was going to add to it. I don't recall. Anyway, so now Steve says, how many people just listen and do not chat on the show?
There's probably quite a few.
Probably quite a few, yeah. Did he ask a question and we totally dismissed it? Not that I see. A lot of people ask questions.
Yeah.
So there, yeah. A lot of them do. So the ectoplasm thing, okay, now looking further at it and stuff like that, when you photograph it, compared to seeing it, which is supposed to be oily and stuff. Now, again, Paranormal Writer asked about water and everything. That, to me, would be the water poltergeist, which is, it's pretty incredible if you've ever had to deal with one before, because you don't know when it's ever going to leave. It's not like your normal poltergeist where it wreaks, holy havoc, and usually only around the time that a woman or a young girl goes into womanhood, that's when it's usually at its most active for a poltergeist. Now, for a water poltergeist, it's quite different. It's an amazing thing to see, though, especially when you can see the water dripping and yet it's not coming from anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's pretty crazy.
Oh, crazy. Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And is it demonic? I don't know if it's demonic. I don't think it is. Poltergeists aren't considered demonic, are they? I don't know. I'm getting a brain fart.
Poltergeist?
Yeah, would you consider...
Some of it they say it can be, and some of it they say that poltergeist happens because you're making it happen sometimes. That you can actually, through the mind, because you're agitated, and you can actually make things move and things fall down, and and you can hear slamming or knocking because you're agitated. That you could, I guess it's like kind of having what like senses of some sort, or some, I don't know. But that's what some poltergeists are, and others I think are probably things that are somewhat demonic in some ways or another. And maybe that's because if you're agitated that way, that you can make these things do these things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, because you're
Right.
full of bounded energy and you throw off an amount of energy and it can agitate probably even spirits if I'm assuming. So, I mean, I'm not a professional at this, and neither am I professional about this ectoplasm. I just find it so interesting how many pictures and how much they believed in this back in time,
Right.
And it's funny because I was telling Father before I left work, because I work at a Catholic church, and I was telling him, guess what we're going to talk about on our show, Father? And he's like, what? And I said, ectoplasma. And he goes, oh, let's look that up. But, we couldn't find anything on ectoplasma, like in a dictionary or anything, knowing how far this comes from. Isn't that weird? Probably
Wow.
plasma, of course, because plasma would be like massive blood or massive, thick substances, and maybe that's what plasma would come from, but not ecto or ectoplasma. And is it just one word or two words, Jerry?
Well, I was always told that ectoplasm and ectoplasma are two different things, but yet when I just tried to Google it during the break, I couldn't find nothing on that.
Interesting.
Yeah, pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool, man. But it's funny is that, and I'm going to get a lot of trouble for what I'm about to say. When it comes to psychics in a way are still using roughly the same forms that you see from that Eva woman back in those days in the early 1900s, late 1800s and stuff like that, to where a lot of photos that a person takes, it's not the ectoplasm, but it's the matrix scene, looks like, it is plain and simple. It's pretty crazy that they would do the, that would happen. And that's where, I mean, I believe in psychics. I do. I've met some people that I can't explain how they know the things they do.
Right.
I can't explain it at all, and, is it a gift given to them? I think it is. A lot of people say, no, it's from demons. The devil gives it to them. I don't believe that. I really don't believe that. If they're doing somebody some good and they're not killing them by, charging them millions of dollars, which a lot of TV psychics are doing, it's a little different, it's actually helping.
Right.
I mean, I know quite a few people that do that. I even had someone tell me, because of my smoke reading, that is the work of demonic. And other people say that it's fake, that it's a trick. How can I convince them? Or I'm not going to try to convince them. That's up to them what they think. I don't give a person's future.
Right.
I have really never given a future. If something comes out as a future thing, it just comes out that way. That's what I see. But that's very, very rarely does it happen. I usually see something that happened way back in their childhood or in their teen years or something, early teen years, that happened that stopped them from, going through where they're supposed to go, that God gave them their path to take.
Right.
Sometimes that gets broken off. And why does it get broken off? Could be a bunch of different things. It could be, it could be bullying. It could be, family problems, extreme family problems, a horrible amount of teasing, which I think a lot of people, even a lot of listeners, can say right now that can do it. I myself was always picked on by my brother, constantly. He was evil, and he still is like that. But it's funny how his son turned out to be a pretty good guy, so he must have gotten it all off on me, But so I don't consider myself a medium or a psychic or nothing. I mean, I'm just, I see it and I say it, and I'm saying it to the person and only to that person, and I'd have never met him before. Right. And then it comes out and they're like, yeah, that did happen. I've never told anybody about it. And it's like, and I will not tell you anything about it now, right. And it's pretty incredible. And it's another thing too, is that a lot of people will put things as in, like Steph was saying, I'm an intuitive. Yes, there's a lot of people that are intuitives, and is that demonic? No, it's not. It's pretty incredible, and that people with gifts like that, they need to put them all out. Now, let's see what some of the people are saying here. See now, or they could be ancient thought forms. Yeah, possibly. A vast majority of psychics are fake. They are. And it's just the same. Like, a lot of people are probably going to get mad at me for saying this, but that's also too, like a lot of TV evangelists. They're frauds. Yeah. Oh my God, there's so many. There's that one dude, I can't remember his name, that everybody believes in so much, and he's there and he's crying for your soul. Yet I need another jet plane because I can't fly in a commercial plane because it's full of demons. So he's got to have his own that's been blessed by God, so he doesn't have to worry about it. That makes me want to throw up and punch him in the throat.
I know. There's so many priests and reverends that have so much money because their church is so huge, and they believe everything, and they're really not like the one priest right now that has been all on Facebook right now, and I think on Being and whatever. What's his name? He says he can blow the coronavirus, the COVID virus away, but his eyes look so shrinking, and he kind of looks like the devil himself. And it's like, oh my God, forgive me if this is not true, but I mean, holy buckets, he looks kind of scary when he's doing that, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know, this guy looks possessed, Right. And he says he can blow the virus away, and he's puffing away and I'm like, oh God, this guy is like overbounded, like overly. I don't know who he's
nuts, not just nuts.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Jerry.
Well, there's even that one Jewish rabbi. It was like a big head guy or something like that said the COVID-19 was because of homosexuals. And then all of a sudden now he's got the COVID-19. He's got this coronavirus.
I know.
So it's like, okay, dude. Let's think about this again there, buddy. Let's see. There are many people who can see things, but twice as many who are psychics. I don't know. Cons. Yes, definitely con. What is this word? Jerry, maybe it's a form of
what is this?
Divination, smoke reading? What does that mean? What's that word? Divination?
I'm trying to see.
I am going to have to look that up. You could tell I'm not very well educated.
And that's the thing with me, Jerry. Like when I tell people, when I read homes and stuff, I'm not there to tell them lies because first of all, I don't even know, like, I don't look up history on the home. I try to ask the client not to tell me anything. Let me just walk through there first, and then I'll tell you first. Like, I'm able to tell the client what they see, what they hear, what I see, which is really funny because, and it's great when I get validation. I love it when I get validation. And like I told you about that farmhouse that we did in in Mankato, well, in the Mankato area and Blue Earth area. And I just got a validation about a lady called and told the client that I'm working with that she used to have a grandfather that must have passed away on there or something like that on the property, which is kind of funny because we saw two stick figures and one was very tall, which is very odd. And then there was another one that he's the man that was the client's grandfather. So we got two of them. And then apparently we also caught like this little girl interacting with us. And it was really funny. But she even said that she thinks her, because I asked her, I said, do you know if anybody passed away on the property other than your grandfather? And she goes, well, I think a little girl passed away. And I was like, what? You know, because I kept telling my client that there was a little girl and that this little girl comes around, but she's not from that home. You know, this is actually a new home that was made on there. And they were actually from the past. And I just think it's great when you get the validation when you're doing these kind of readings. You know what I mean? So you can't, I can't fake anything to a client because then it doesn't work for you. That's how I see it.
Exactly.
You know?
If
and
you start,
things will fall apart. I mean, easily, as fast as you think you can be out there and do these crazy things and amazing things, and you're lying about this stuff, it'll go down and hit you hard like a rock. I'm not kidding. And I don't think it is right to even tell a client a lie or to do your investigations upon a lie and stuff like that. So, I mean, I just think it's great because I totally got validation yesterday. As a matter of fact, she called me and told me some things, and I was just super excited. So now I have to share with the client that I'm working with now on that farm. So I just think it's kind of cool, you know, especially when you get validation, you know.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, you know, that's the big thing is you know, the validation of it. I actually did a reading for a girl. This was really weird. I got to tell you about this one because she said I could. So I'm only telling you guys ones that people say I could. Steph was there, was at at Steph's house, and it was a friend of my daughter's, and I did a reading on her friend, and was her friend, and it was weird because when I was doing the reading on her, I went, "Wow, this is weird," because it's like I'm reading someone else. Mm-hmm. And she goes, "What do you mean?" I said, "It doesn't seem like I'm allowed to read you, but I'm reading somebody else right now." She goes, "What are you reading?" So I told her, and then she had told me, she said, "Oh my God, I just learned of this just last year." And I said, "What are you talking about?" She said that I always wanted to be closer to my grandfather, and my sister would never allow me to and kept pulling me away. And she goes, "I didn't know about this when I was a kid. I didn't know until he had passed." And I said, "What do you mean that he had passed?" And she said, "What happened is that my sister was being molested by my grandfather. Mm-hmm. And then when she got to be too old, he started in on me, but she would never allow me to be around." And I said, "Well, and you know, but there was things more that I had said, and that, what was it? There was more stuff that I had said, but then she put it all together and said that, yeah, what you did is you read my sister because my sister she's extremely protective of her, and mm-hmm. she has a lot of intuitiveness on her, mm-hmm. too. Probably, you know, intuitiveness can come from anything. It can come from when you were younger. It can come from it can just manifest in you too.
Right. And I believe too, you guys, that everyone has a gift of some sort. And it's just, you know, and it depends on if you like to do these types of things. And I think I was born with, of course we're born with it, but and I had it since the beginning, so I continued it. You know what I mean? So I wasn't doing it much when I had my kids, you know, at that time. But But to me, just, I just think, I don't even want to call it a gift. I think it's a privilege when you have that ability to do things like that. And, it's something in your life that, like you said, you just can't lie about it. You just don't lie about things like that.
Exactly.
And there's another story I want to tell you guys, but you're right. I can't really say much right now. So I'll just let you guys know that later. I'll tell you guys as soon as I talk to the client. But I just think it's amazing how I got validation. And like for you, Jerry, it's the same thing. It's like, wow, I can't believe it, which you should believe.
Right.
But another time, you're surprised.
Right. And someone had said, Steph was saying that she said, I'm happy with what I do now, not willing to open up anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny, when a person does decide to open up more,
Mm-hmm.
then once that switch is turned on, you can't go back to what you did before.
No.
Some people say they can do that, and I don't know. Once that switch has been opened, you then will be able to see other stuff. My daughter Casey, being able to see when we've started the team, and it took a while, and then finally she was able to see ghosts. And I was amazed because I could. And then when she was telling me, I said, okay, tell me when they come on out, or this one particular spirit. And Casey would go, right there. And it's like she was hitting it perfect on there. And I was like, it was a happy daddy moment for me. But then after she left Sim, she decided she didn't want to do that anymore. So she tried very hard to shut off that part of her brain. And then when her and her band actually went to Italy to go play there and everything, they went to, gosh darn it, I don't remember the place that they were at. And there was like thousands of people died there. And her friend said, open up, Casey. Tell me what you can see. And Casey refused to open up anything because she could see stuff, but she wasn't allowing herself to fully open up so that she could see more. And her friends were really bummed about her, like that and stuff, And Paranormal Writer says too, lying is bad. It's all on the wheel. It comes around. Exactly. Especially even if you lie to save somebody from a reading that you have, you're not allowing them, this is my belief anyway, that you're not allowing them to know what you see and what is the truth. So by lying and suppressing that, you're not allowing the guides to be able to say clearly what they need to say, because it could change that person in a good way. And well, like even Steve is saying right now, do you think our guardian angels or guides have a lot to do with extra abilities some people have? Yes. And that's where, again, a person with abilities that lie to save someone or to not give them the full truth is hurting themselves. Right. Because if they are going to be doing this, then they need to say exactly what it is, be it good or bad, because a message is coming from something through you to that person, and denying that person their what they, what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm. Yep. No, it's true. It's so true, because funny thing is, like, I was doing an investigation, and this was supposed to be an investigation, and they knew I could read places, so they brought their whole family. And I think I told you this, Jerry, and I'm pretty sure the chat room even knows, but I kept getting the word cancer throughout the whole investigation, but I didn't see anybody who looked sick to me, there, and it just kept coming and coming, and even the spirits were showing me the words and stuff, and I was like, okay, what is going on? So finally, at the end, I said, you know what? I don't know why I'm saying this, but does somebody have cancer in here? Because they're telling me you picked out your roses today. And they turned around, they looked at her, they looked at me, and they didn't say anything. And yes, she came up and she told me that one of the lady who owned the house, her sister had cancer, and they did pick out her roses for her funeral. Isn't that crazy?
Right.
Like, I just thought that was absolutely crazy. And the two spirits kept showing it to me, and the two spirits were the mother and I think it was the other sister who passed that were older than them. So yeah.
Right.
So yeah, I thought that was, and I was trying to hold that back, Jerry, because how am I supposed to sit there? And I just, my tears started just rolling out of my eyes, because how are you supposed to say that? How are you supposed to come up to these, who has cancer? You know what I mean?
Right.
Say hi. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So I was freaked out after that. So yeah, I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. But yeah, they were showing me, and I couldn't, like I said, it's funny how your spirit guides and your guides, and you know what how's you doing, you know, and like there's times where you say, oh, today I'm not going to read you, and no, I can't do that right now, and then poof, all of a sudden stuff comes up in my head like a movie, and I'm like, okay, stop, you know. So
right.
So yeah, you're right about that. Absolutely right about holding information. So it's not good.
Right.
It's really not good.
Exactly. Right here, I said, it's hard to see bad, though, like being the person that would see someone dies, that would be a hard one to want to share. Yes, agreed, but I feel that it should be told for their readiness. That's why you're seeing it. You're supposed to say it. Right. Sherry says, don't push messages on people if they don't want to hear it. Then they shouldn't have asked,
True.
What it was. Because they are supposed to know in my book. Okay, so we got 1 minute left. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you guys coming on. And I'm glad you guys didn't take the message to a certain person out there that, it was just an April Fool's joke last week about not going to be doing the show anymore. It was a joke. I won't say his name, Paranormal Writer. No, there was a lot more than that. But I do want to say real quick that next week I am actually going to my hometown, Bemidji, Minnesota. I am not going to stop and talk with anybody. I'm going out to the woods, and I'm going to listen to those trees talk. I used to be able to hear it. I want to see if we can do it. That's what we're going to talk about next week, is do trees speak to each other and to us? But thank you all very much. Thank you, Kimberly Juarez. And thank you, Para X and Sarge.
Thank
for the
you.
pump. Thank you very much.